Hello there, welcome back to me, Cartoon God. Today we're gonna learn how to be an adjudicator. So this Asian parliamentary judging. What should you do if you become an adjudicator? And this webinar will help you understand the role of judges. So watch this video till the end. Okay, now let's jump to the debating seminar. Okay, what is the adjudicator? Adjudicator is the person who determines the winning and the losing team. So that's called an adjudicator. Kinds of judges and debate. Number one, chief adjudicator, usually certain becoming CA. CK stands for chief adjudicator. Chief adjudicator is the leader of the judges. So when you are in the tournaments and somebody say about CA, CA means chief adjudicator, and he or she is the leader of the judges. Number two, Deputy Chief Adjudicator, or called DCA. DCA is the vice of the judges, the vice of judge. Okay, the vice of judge. Number three, invited adjudicators. Invited adjudicators is the adjudicators who come to help CA or DCA in judging the tournaments, and the selection is usually done by CA and DCA. And usually when you're becoming invited adjudicators, CA and DCA will invite you directly or contact your numbers, or CA and DCA select you to come to the tournament. And number four, independent adjudicators. Independent adjudicators is the judges who want to get an accreditations. They do not have a debaters teams. So they are an individual who willing to come to adjudicate, and their purpose is to get an accreditation. After getting an accreditation, he or she can be the next judge, can be judges in other tournaments. Okay, the next one, N1 adjudicators. When it comes to the tournaments, the judges who want to get an accreditations, and this judge has debaters team. So what the difference between N1 adjudicators and independent adjudicators? Usually N1 adjudicators have team members, so he or she have a team. The debaters teams so the debaters teams is compete in debating, while N1 adjudicators compete in adjudicating. So compared to the independent adjudicators do not have any debaters teams. They comes independently. Okay, and next one, chair adjudicator. Chair adjudicator is the judge who leads the judges in each chamber of the debate. Usually give verbal to debaters, and also assess both of the panels, and also the trainee adjudicators. That's called chair adjudicators. Chair adjudicators is sit on each room of the chamber. So one room or one chamber have one chief adjudicators, and I usually have two or more than two panelists. Okay, next one, panel adjudicators, the judge who hold the chair in each chamber of the debate. Usually that these panel adjudicators so helping the chair adjudicator to judge in each chamber or in each room. His or her decisions is counted to determine the winning or the losing team during the tournaments. That's called panelist or panel adjudicator. So panel adjudicators, his or her decisions is matter. Okay, next one, trainee adjudicators, the judge who still learns how to adjudicate. His or her decision is not counted to determine the winning or losing team during the tournament. That's called a trainee adjudicators. Number 9, breaking adjudicators. These all judges who pass a certain score. So when you are a judge, or you willing to get an accreditations and you pass a certain score, you will be a breaking adjudicators. Number 10, accredited adjudicator. So here, after you passing the exam, you will get an accreditation. So all the judges who pass a certain score will get an accreditations. You will be accredited, and after you get an accreditations, you can be judge in the next round or in the other rounds. So here, I think that's this clear. Yeah. If you have questions, just put it down or write on the comments. And the next one, jobs of CA and DCA. Chief Adjudicator or CA and Deputy Chief Adjudicator or DCA are the leader of judges. So the jobs more or less are as follows. Number 1, responsible to all the circumstances that might be happening related to adjudicators, debaters, license official, or all cases. So when there's problems, the CA and DCA should be responsible. Okay. Number 2, make a deal with committee related to the budget's allocation. So here usually that CA or DCA here need to deal in terms of budget, how much you should pay the invited adjudicators and whatsoever. And the other ones you need to deal with about the place, about the participants, and whatever you need to discuss, you need to deal with exactly the number 1 budget allocations, because these budgets will determine how many judges you can invite and how many participants will join the competitions. You need to deal most likely about that. And number 3, creating motions, prepare and improve the motions. This is the job of CA and DCA. You should make or create a motion. Number 4, inviting all judges. So you need to invite judges to help you adjudicate in the tournaments. Number 5, give accreditations to the new adjudicators. If you have this policy, you need to give an accreditations to the new judges or N1 judges if any. But if you don't have or do not use apply N1 or N1 slot, and if you don't provide N1 slot or you don't want to make an accreditations, that's okay. This depends on the circumstances, depends on the conditions whether a CA or DCA use N1 format or not. Okay, number 6, ensure all invited judges come to the institutions holding the competition with suitable dress or attire. So here sometimes you need to use a specific dress when you comes to a certain institution. Sometimes certain institutions do not allow you to use dress freely. That's according to the etiquette of those kind of institutions. So that's why as CA or DCA, you need to ensure that all invited judges is dressed appropriately. Okay. And 7, ensure that new invited judges come late. It's important because when the competition is running, so that's why all judges should be there and no one can come late. If it happened, so it will mess up your tournaments. And number 8, ensure that the debate tabulation goes right. This is also important because when you did mistakes in terms of giving tabulation, so the debaters will get harm of this. So the matchup will be slightly slightly different or even have a huge difference. So their matchup will also be messed up. Number 9, provide mediations if the debaters confront the judges. Yeah, this usually happens when the debaters do not agree with the decisions of the judges and they directly confront the judges and need to change the decisions, but unfortunately they can't. Sometimes this happens when it comes to the new debaters. Okay, number 10. Okay, I'm sorry. Number 10, provide a swing team to complete the tournament, or if some of the teams walked out or could not manage to come to the tournament on time. So yes, a CA and DCA need to provide a swing team to help you in case some of the teams walk out. Some of the teams cannot manage to come to the tournaments, or yeah, whatever happens in terms of the tournaments. Say for example, the teams are getting sick, so that's why you need a swing team to replace them. Number 11, provide debating and judging seminar to ensure debaters and judges understood about what they should do during competition. So during the tournament, they do not confuse what they should do. So you need to give a debating and judging seminar. Number 12, briefing the LOs for setting their room and explaining about their jobs while the competition is running. So briefing an LOs and DLOs for setting the room and explaining about their jobs is really important, because when LOs don't know what actually their job, it is really difficult for you to run the tournament. And yeah, now goes to adjudicators' job in general. What actually judges need to do. Number 1, yeah, this one you need to do is that all judges must know the rules of debating. In case you don't know the rules of debating, meaning to say that you will have difficulties to judge. The judges must know the rules of debating. So before you comes to be a judge, you need to ensure that you know the rules how to debate. And you need to watch my debating seminar about Asian parliamentary debates, so at least you know what actually are debating about and what the debaters should do in terms of speech, for example. I have already put in YouTube. You can search by typing Asian parliamentary debate. This debating seminar will help you to understand it. So please kindly check the rules of debating. I have already provide some information there. Hopefully it'll help you. So yeah, that's all that the judges need to do in the first beginning. You must know about the rules of debating. And number 2, judging in the chamber every round in preliminary round. So all judges need to ensure yourself that you should be judged in the chamber every round in preliminary round. So the next one, in elimination round, it is based on the CA and DCA's judges allocations, because the number of judges is in the odd number, sometimes because the number of judges are in the even number. So that's why sometimes the judges should put certain allocations in the elimination round. So it is only based on CA or DCA whether you would like to be judged or not. You would like to be an adjudicator or not in the elimination rounds. So pay attention to your CA and DCA in the tournament actually. Okay, number 3, kindly respect the debater speaking. Pay attention to what all debaters are saying during speech. You are not allowed to sleep, go to toilet, answer phone calls, or anything hinders your attention to debaters speaking. So as judges, you need to always pay attention to whatever the debater are saying in terms of his or her speech. You cannot go or go to toilet and do whatever or anything that hinders your attention to the debater speaking. So that's your job, to pay attention to the debaters. And number 4, determine the winning and the losing team, as well as providing the reason why a certain team win or lose. Yeah, exactly. This is your job, to provide reasons, to give reasons why you could win or lose certain team. Number 5, responsible for the decision you made. Exactly, you need to responsible for all decisions you made. And give a constructive feedback to debaters. Yeah, you need also to give constructive feedback, so that's why debaters can have better developments in the next rounds. And number 7, use the appropriate dress or attire. So I also have already mentioned this in front. So you need to pay attention or your the appropriate dress or your attire. And panels, sorry, misspelling. Panels and trainee judges give verbal to the chair adjudicators. So panelists and trainee adjudicators need to give verbal to the chair adjudicator, because you will be the adjudicator, the chair adjudicator will give you mark or give you a score to use. That's why you need to practice or giving verbal to the chief adjudicator inside of your room. And do not reveal the result of silent rounds. This is important to suppress the debater. So in silent round, all adjudicators cannot reveal the result of silent rounds, even if you have a close relations to debaters. Okay, number 10, it is not allowed judging the room in that you have an affiliation or close relation with. For example, you, the debaters, you have a girl or boyfriend or family or your coach. So that's why you should not become judges in that room when you have a close relation with the debaters. Okay, that's all. I think the adjudicators' jobs in general. Is there any more? Anyone? Oh, no, I think so. Okay, adjudicators' job in general. Oh, we have number 9. Do not take your own specific or expert knowledge on the issue into account to determine the winning or the losing team. So you cannot use your own knowledge to win or to lose the debater. So judge as it is. And number 10, assess the debate as it is. What was happening? Oh, I mean, as it is that what was happening in the debate. You should judge as it is, and not assess the debate. What the motion or arguments or rebuttals should be brought by debaters. So, when you become a judge, you need to assess the debate as it is. What was happening in the debate, not assess the debate, what the motion or arguments should be or should be brought by the debaters. Not based on your expectation, not based on the motion expectations, but you need to assess the debaters based on the debate, based on what was happening in the debate. Okay, next one. You should become a responsible or fair or unbiased intelligent observer and evaluate the persuasiveness of the arguments and rebuttals according to that perspective, not your perspective. So it is based on the perspectives of the debaters, not your perspective. So you should become a reasonable, fair, unbiased, intelligent observer and evaluate the persuasiveness of the arguments and rebuttals according to that perspective. That perspective meaning to say that based on the perspective of the debaters, not your perspective. So what happened in terms of battling the arguments and rebuttals? So that's judged as it is what happening in the rooms. Okay, and next one, do not discriminate debaters on the basis of university or school affiliations, religion, belief, ethnicity, sex, race, color, nationality, sexual preference, age, culture, social status, or disability. So you should disregard all of this. You should put away all of this. You shouldn't discriminate debaters based on this criteria. Next one, adjudication. Number one, each room will be adjudicated in odd number of adjudicators. So odd number meaning to say 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, that's 11 and next one. So that's called odd number. And number two, the adjudicator's job is to assess the strength of the arguments and rebuttals. Matter is 40%. The way, the way to deliver of arguments and rebuttals, including but not limited to eye contact, gesture, pitch of sound, intonation, stopping and pausing the speech, that's called manner. And before that, matter is the strength of the arguments, also rebuttals, while manner is about your delivery style, the way you present your arguments, that's called manner, while matter is the content of your speech and arguments and rebuttals. While the next one is about the structure giving the speech and time management of the speeches, that's called a method. So here that called matter, and methods. That's those three things that adjudicators need to pay attention with. Okay, next one. Scores are awarded to the team as a whole and to an individual speaker, including a reply speaker. So you as the judge, you need to ensure that there is the score to the individual and also as a team. Number four, determine the winning and the losing team is based how many judges. It should be based on how many judges give the winning to a certain team. So when you have 3 judges, so two judge giving to a certain team, so that's why those that team should win the debate. And if that's based on how many judges give the winning to a certain team. And steps of judging. Number one, write down main ideas and rebuttals delivered by debaters. Do it as detailed as possible. So you as a judge, need to write down the ideas and rebuttals delivered by debaters. And if it is possible, you should do as detailed as possible to write down all of what they are saying. Number two, notes should reflect the main points of the debates or arguments or ideas, analysis and examples in the debate, how well and effective the arguments and responses, organizations of the speech, manners and phrasing, etc. So here you need to take notes in terms of the debate. Judge holistically, do not create a checklist of expectations to determine the winning or losing team. If you want to create a checklist about what should be brought by teams or debaters, put as constructive feedback for the teams and debaters. So for example, you have a person, debaters should more or less talking about this one and this one and this one, and put this on your constructive feedback, not as your list that you would like to checklist. If debaters do so, you will give the winning, and if do not, you would put them, or you will lose this team. So you shouldn't do that. What you need to do is only judge as it is. If you have an expectations, put it as constructive feedback. Number four, matter, content and manner or style are interdependently. None is more important above others, for which they are affecting each other. Style without any relevant argument is nonsense or simply rhetoric. Unclear structure leads to unclear arguments and rebuttals. So both of the manner and also matter are equally important. So this you should take note when I give an explanation in terms of the debating seminar. In terms of Asian parliamentary debate, I made in the first beginning. I do not give like it is equally important. So this will show you that each CA or DCA will have different kind of perspective. So you as judges need to follow your CA or DCA, whether the CA or DCA would say to you that manner and matter is equally important, so the percentage is the same, or the CA or DCA gives slightly the difference. For example, that matter more important compared manners, because matter give the fact or the analysis about the speech, that this could determine, the idea could determine whether that the team could win the debate or not. But some of CA or DCA will put it is equally important because it is also affected one another, or each other. So that's why you need to pay attention to your CA and DCA. Okay, next one. In taking a note, better to use different color of pen. So this will help you when you would like to give a constructive feedback, or a specific note. You can write down to use a different color of pen. Number 6, evaluation will focus on whether or not an argument or rebuttal is proven. So here, when you would like to evaluate your debaters, you should focus on whether or not that the rebuttal or the arguments is proven by the speaker. Number 7, compare both of team's argument and rebuttals to determine the winning and the losing team. Yeah, this normally happened. And make a reasonable reason to make a decision. Yeah, you must do it. If you give unreasonable reasons, so that's why that debaters will confront you, because your reasons cannot be accepted by the debaters. Okay, decide which losing and winning team based on the holistic comparisons. You cannot compare or decide the winning based on only in certain aspect. You need to see holistically. You need to compare holistically. Number 10, take a note the strengths and the weakness of each team or speakers. Yeah, you need also to do this, because sometimes that debaters need what actually my weaknesses, I need to improve about that. So yeah, you need to do about it. Number 10, decide the gap of the margin. Yeah, margins is the gap between the gap score between the winning and the losing team. Yes, you need to decide this one. Give the score as an individual and as a team. Note, adjudicators cannot change the result of his or her decisions after revealing the final result to other judges or the team. So you are, as a judge, need to ensure that when you reveal the result or your decision about your decisions, you need to ensure that this is the final result. You cannot change it after you revealing it. And no discussion between judges to determine the losing and the winning team. You, as a judge, as individual, you need to ensure by yourself no discussion to determine the losing and the winning team. Discussion among judges is only allowed after decision revealed, but the discussion will never change the result of decisions. Okay, got it, I think, yeah. A split or unanimous decision is normally happened. A split meaning to say two judges give to a team. For example, two judges give to the government team and one judge give to the opposition team. That's called a split decision. A unanimous decision is all of the judges give to the government, say for example, or all of the judges give the winning to the opposition team. That's called unanimous decision, and it is normally happens. So if you become a split judges, that's okay for you, because it is normally happens. So as long as you have a reasonable reasonable reasons, it is okay for you to be split, to have a split decision. Number 17, as a chair, gives verbal to the debaters. Panel and trainee give verbal to the chair. So as a chair, you need to give verbal in each room, in your room, I mean, and in your rooms, in your chamber. So after the debate, after the debates end, so you need to give verbal why you give the winning to a certain team. Number 18, as a chair, gives constructive feedback to the whole team, debaters, panel, and trainees. So for the team, debaters, and panel or trainee, they can improve their performance in the next round. Defining the motion. Defining definition should be based on the issue in which the two teams are expected to debate. So definition should be like that. You should follow what actually the expectations of the motion. So the definition should goes there. The motion poses a clear issue for a debate should be defined accordingly. So for example, the motion is very clear, so the debate should be about that. Okay, and but otherwise, if the motion is not clear, yeah, the debaters can't how to say, can't interpret to the other, can define in other scenario or in other position, in other explanation, in other circumstances. Yeah. And number 3, in case there is no vivid or obvious meaning or it has multiple interpretations of the motion, the range of possible meanings is limited to the definition, which allow for a reasonable debate. So even if the motion is have a wide range of possibility in terms of defining or giving the meanings of it, so it is limited to the definitions which allow for a reasonable debate. As long as it is reasonable and it is debatable, it is okay to debate about that. Number 4, pay attention to the info slide, if any. Sometimes CA or DCA will give the info slide in regards to the motions, what actually happening, or the definitions, or yeah, whatever in the informations in regards to the motions. So every judges need to pay attention to the edge scores, to the definitions, or to the informations given by the edge scores. Yeah, this is important to know the directions of the motion. So what actually the expectation of the motions, you need to ensure that you pay attention to the info slide. Number 5, judge the debate based on the debater's definition, not your definitions that you expected as a judge. You can also have an expectations, but do not put as considerations to win or lose the teams. Put it that as a constructive feedback, that's okay. And definitional challenge. If the definitions of team government is illogical or makes no room to debate, team negative has right to challenge the definition. If team negative challenges government's definition, the judge must accept the definitions that shows better grounds for its interpretations of the term. Listen to the evidence and logic of the explanations which support the definition. So here, when's the definitional challenge? The negative team have rights to challenge the definitions. And number 2, that if there's a challenge definitions, you also need to pay attention which one is more reasonable, which one is a logic, which one that close to the need to the spirit of the motions. You need to pay attention on that. So that's why you do not miss what actually the definitions should be brought by the debaters. Okay. And number 3, if the definition provided by government is proven wrong according to the fact or reality, but there is no objection or challenge definitions from negative team, the definition is still valid as the battleground of the debate, and in that shows that negative team agrees with the government's team's definitions. An adjudicator cannot give the winning to the opposition simply because the definition is not relevant to the fact, and in vice versa, the judge cannot give the winning to the government simply because the negative teams does not give an objection or definitional challenge. Analyze the whole of the debate to determine the winning and the losing teams. So here is the thing number 3 is if the motion provided by the government is proven wrong according to the fact, this is okay as long as the debate can run, as long as there is a room of the debate. So the definition is still valid. So even if it's not like the adjudicators or the motions should be, but in case it is debatable, it is okay. Maybe you can only just give less credit to the debaters because they do not debate about what the motion should be debated about. But as long as it is debatable, the debate can run. And adjudicator cannot give the winning to the opposition simply because the definition is not relevant, but when it is debatable, it is okay. In vice versa, the government cannot give the winning to the government simply because the negative team does not give an objection or definitional challenge. So when this happening in terms of the debates, so you need to only judge as it is what actually happened in the debates. Yeah, just analyze and judge as it is. Just judge what was happening in the debates. Analyze the whole of the debate to determine the winning and the losing team. So yeah, like that. Number 4, if both negative and government teams provide the same wrong or illogical definitions or no room to debate, a judge should disregard both of the definition and should weigh or count more on the arguments and its rebuttals, including manner and methods. So if both of teams do not give an appropriate or illogical definition, so you only need to disregard the definitions. You need to weigh on the other and on the other aspects, let's say in terms of arguments, also rebuttals, manner and method, and yeah, whatever in terms of whatever that the judges need to give a score to pay attention in what the other aspects except the definitions if the definition exactly cannot be followed. Okay, now assessing arguments. How to assess the arguments. An argument is a set of premise, explanation, example, and conclusion showing why what the speaker is saying is. Sorry, because there is my picture, so you cannot read all of it. So actually what the speaker is saying is right. An argument is a set of premise, explanation, example, and conclusion showing why what the speaker is saying is right. Say for example, no. The parts of an argument. Here is the parts of arguments. Number 1, assertion. Assertion is statement of ideas. So that you can also say that it is the argument needs a title of arguments or a statement in the first beginning or premise. Reasoning in the content of the speech or explanations proving why and how the assertion is true. That's called reasoning. This content of the speech or the explanations of the reason or the premise, the explanations of the statement, a previous statement. An example is supporting argument. No fact doesn't mean a completely failing argument. Evaluate the substantive analysis. It can be an illustration, analogy, or parallel example. So the example is not only is not always be the fact in reality, but sometimes it can be an illustration, analogy, or parallel example. So that's enough as an example. Link back is it should be link back. Link back is about how and why it is relevant and important to the premise or statement of the idea, to the motions. So link back is simple, we call a conclusion. Missing one point of RL, this is called RL, assertion, reasoning, example, and link back. Is an indication of a weak argument, but weak doesn't mean will automatically lose the debate. So even if it is weak, not necessarily that those team will exactly lose the debate. Next one, only showing the fact or proof is not an argument. A fact is only empowering the reason. So you as judge need to pay attention to this one. You need to take note that a fact is only empowering the reasons. A fact is not completely the whole argument. An argument with no title is hard to follow. It could lead to the wrong interpretation. So if the debaters do not give the assertion, do not give the title of the arguments, you as a judge need to pay attention, need to pay more attention to that, because sometimes because there is no assertion, there is no statement, this could lead to the wrong interpretations. And philosophical and practical arguments are equally important. None of it are above the others. Okay, so philosophical and practical arguments are equally important. A good argument is still a good argument, even if there is a good rebuttal given by the opponent. While a poor argument is still poor, even though no rebuttal at all. And more number of arguments doesn't mean always better than a few number of arguments. So a few number of arguments could win over a lot of arguments, but that are weak arguments. A good argument but not relevant to the motion is not a good argument. Yeah, actually it is a good argument in the first, that we thought that yeah, it is a complete argument, but actually it is not relevant. So when there is no relevancy, meaning to say that it is not a good argument. Maybe in other case, yeah, when this relevant to that, so that's why it is good argument. But when it is a complete argument that mind-blowing, but at the end is not relevant, that cannot be said that it is a good argument. A good response should be point out the most important case. So do not respond to a trivial case. A late argument should not be counted. It should be given less credit, but doesn't mean we'll automatically lose the debate. A late argument happen in case the first and the second speaker only explain about politics and economy, while the third speaker suddenly talk about natural resources in which there is no relations at all with the politics and economy. So the first and the second speaker talk most likely in terms of economy and politics, but at the end that the third speaker talking about natural resources. So exactly there is no relations between that. So that can be called as a new arguments. New arguments. This is called late arguments because brought by the third speaker. So the adjudicator should not count that as more explanation. If there is no link, there is no relations, it should be called a new argument, and this should not be counted. Or if you can count it, it should not be given to the maximum credit. You need to give less credit to it. Rebuttals is reason, true or not. Sorry, I need a drink, so reason rebuttals, true or not true. Rebuttals can say that's not true. Yeah, partially true. True but not relevant. That's called the types of rebuttals. You can say yeah, that's not true, or that's partially true. True but not relevant, or true but cannot solve the problem, or true but not significant, or true but not always true. Yeah, sometimes it is true, but on the other occasion this is not true, and here it is not true. So true but not always true. In this time, in this moment, it is not true. True but difficult to solve. Yeah, it is true but difficult to solve. And true and easy to solve. Yeah, there's types of rebuttals that might happen in terms of the debate or in terms of the tournaments. So judges need to know about this. And rebuttal should showing the opponent's arguments is impossible to happen in reality. Yeah, your arguments is possible to be happening in reality. Say for example like that. And the fact is not true, or the fact is true but wrong to interpret, and irrelevant to the topic, and illogical. Let's call it rebuttals. Yeah, your explanation is logical, your explanation is irrelevant to the topic. And rebuttals can be given separately or incorporated into those arguments. Judges should try to put some efforts in finding the rebuttal. Sometimes that the debaters intertwine their speech and intertwine their rebuttals and also arguments. So here, as the adjudicator, you need to pay attention. Is the does the debater incorporates their arguments within their rebuttals or not, or it is exactly in spirited condition. Okay, that's rebuttals. You need to know about rebuttals, how to rebut. So showing what actually the rebuttals. Okay, scoring. Excellent, 80 to 81. All adjudicators will believe whatever the debater said. Yeah, when this criteria is fulfilled, so the speaker is excellent speaker. Very good, 78 to 79. This fluent, grammatically well, structured well, use idiomatic words, have a strong evidence and very good explanation. Good, 76 to 77. Fluent, grammatically correct, their speech is easy to follow, structurally well, have the relevant evidence, and good in explaining the arguments. Average 74 to 75. The speech is understandable, have the signposting in his or her argumentations, can explain the arguments, have some relevant evidence. Below average 72 to 73 have no fluency, mostly assumptive arguments, there are missing link in the explanations. And the last one, poor, 69 to 71 cannot speak, greeting only, adjudicator do not know what their arguments are. So this is their criteria, how you score the debate. And reply speech, a half of the substantial speech. So in reply speech, you only need to give half of the substantial speech. 37.5 at minimum and 40.5 at maximums. So this criteria might be different for the other CA and DCA, for the other tournaments, but most likely the range of the score is like this, so you can put it as your to broaden your knowledge, to get more understanding or comparisons. So more or less is like this. Okay, but exactly when you come to the tournament, you need to pay attention of scoring given by your CA and DCA, not follow this kind of explanations, but it is also as only as a depiction, only as a picturizations of picture, as an illustrations when you come to the tournament. And no, the other competition, I've already showed to you. I've already say this. Other competitions may have different criteria for scoring. You exactly need to pay attention for your CA and DCA in your tournament. Special case, how if? What is how if? Case 1. How do we judge if team government provides arguments but no rebuttals, while team opposition provides rebuttals without any arguments? What you need to do as judges, team government can win if the rebuttals from team oppositions cannot crumble down the arguments from team government. So here what you need to do. Next one, team oppositions can win if the rebuttals can topple down the arguments of team of government, even if team opposition has no arguments, because the job of oppositions is opposing the motion. So opposition's team has played its role as opposition team. As long as the opposition can oppose the motion better than the government to support the motion, team opposition can win the debates. So here exactly when even if that negative team don't have any case, do not have any arguments, but when oppositions can crumble down the idea, the arguments coming from governments and completely fall down, that's the opposition should take the debate. While in vice versa, if government can win, even if that government don't have any rebuttals or rebuttals to opposition, when the idea or the arguments coming from government or the arguments provided by the government team still stand till the end of the debate. So that's why government should take the debate. Next, case 2. How if both of the teams only provide their own arguments but do not give rebuttal at all? No rebuttal each other's, no respond each other. So how do we do as a judge? The team which could win the debate is the team that, number one, can provide a parallel or in-line arguments with the spirit of the motion, and number two, have better analysis in its arguments. So we should weigh more in terms of their explanations in terms of their arguments, whether or not their arguments is in line with the spirit of the motions, in line what the motion should be brought, and and which arguments have better analysis compare both of those two teams. So that's you need to do as a judge in the case 2. Next one, case 3. How if both of the teams have different definition until the end of the debate? So this odd. It's weird, okay, but well done. Give more credit to the team which its definitions parallel with the motion should be discussing about. If those of two teams have different definitions, you need to pay attention to more, or give credit more to the definitions parallel with the motion should be discussing about. So you need to give more reward to the definitions that the motion should be. Number 2, if the definition is not parallel with what the motion should be, the arguments are most likely irrelevant. If it does, give less credit to it. So yeah, if the definition is most likely not relevant, not parallel with the motion should be, exactly the arguments are most likely irrelevant. And if it does, give less credit to it. And pay attention to the team's rebuttals. Give more reward to the team which has better responsive, the team which have better rebuttal. So you can't give the winning to that team. Case number 4. How if team A only has one argument but strong and team B has 3 arguments but weak? The answers: having more arguments doesn't mean always win the debate, so you need to pay attention on this. One argument but stronger can win over 3 arguments but completely weak arguments. So it doesn't matter how many arguments you have, but the problem is that what you need to pay attention is whether that the argument is solid or not, whether the argument is strong or not. Keep to pay attention on each team's rebuttal as one of the main part that should be considered to determine the winning and the losing team. So besides the arguments, you need also to pay attention on each team's rebuttals to consider whether you need to give the winning to a certain team, right? Okay, that's case number 4. And case number 5. How if the teams provide wrong facts? The wrong facts still counted as an acceptable. Yeah, this mess spelling. Technicality of spelling. Sorry. The wrong facts still counted as an acceptable or valid decision, a valid fact, if there is no rebuttal or clarifications from the opponent team. So as long as there is no clarifications, wrong fact is okay. This is called as valid. This is called as a fact because the oppositions do not give a clarifications or clarify about it. And though it is acceptable or valid, it should not be awarded higher than the true facts. So as judges, you need to also know that it is exactly not the true facts, but when the debaters do not give true facts, they provide wrong facts. The debate just go on, and you can give less credit to them. When they give true facts, you can give a higher score to them. But it is only the wrong fact doesn't mean that the team will directly lose the debate. The team giving the wrong facts still can win the debate under the circumstances. Number 1, when there is no rebuttals or clarifications from the opponent team, so that is okay. and that's still valid, and probably that the team could win the debate. Number two, there are rebuttals and clarification, but it is not enough to topple down the whole arguments of the team brought the wrong facts. So even if there is any clarifications, even if there is any rebuttals, but those rebuttals and also clarifications cannot crumble down or topple down the whole arguments coming from the team who brought the wrong facts. So that's why that this team who brought the wrong facts still could take the debate, could win the debate. And number six, how if government team provides definitions. How if government team provides definitions that no room to debate while opposition team does not challenge the definitions. Government team provide definition that no room to debate while opposition team does not challenge the definitions. What the adjudicator should do? Number one, the government team has made a mistake by making no room to debate. Yeah, exactly. The government team has made a mistake by making no room to debate. Less reward should be given to the government. Number two, though the government team made a mistake, the negative team also made more mistakes because by not challenging the definition. It shows that negative team agrees with the definitions provided by government team. So here that the point is that government did a mistake, but the oppositions did more mistake because no clarification, no challenge definition. So it shows that negative teams agrees with the definition provided by government team. So you can analyze by this kind of explanations or reasons in which team you should give the winning to. And is that anyone? How if the government team provides definition that no room to debate while opposition challenges with the same definition in which no room to debate? Repeat again. How if the government team provides definitions that no room to debate while opposition challenges? So here that the government give definitions but no room to debate under the government definitions, while opposition tries to challenge with the same definition in which no room to debate. So the debate couldn't be happen. So in this case, way more to the definition, slightly better or close to the motion should be. Number two, if the definitions are equally worse, so both of the government and the oppositions are equally worse, pay attention to the to the arguments and also rebuttals. The team has better arguments and rebuttals should win the debate, even if that they have two spread or equally worse in terms of defining the motion. So you need to pay attention of the logic of the arguments, of the relevancy of the arguments, and also its rebuttals. And which one that have the better, did better on those two criteria? Yeah, you can give the winning to that too. How if the government team provides the wrong definition about what the motion should be, while the negative team tries to challenge it, but finally opposition team also provides the same wrong interpretations of the motions. So here's the thing. Though the debate will run better if with the appropriate definitions, but it is not that fatal providing wrong definitions or interpretation as long as debatable. So this is okay even if it is not like exactly what the motion should be, but as long as it is debatable, the debate could run. Even if not well, that the debate still could run. And give more credit to the better definition. When both teams equally fail to use the appropriate definitions, put aside the definition and weigh more in the arguments and rebuttals, like the above case. Next question, how if the government team provides the wrong definition of what the motion should be, yet opposition team just follows the definition provided by the government team? What you need to do, as long as it is debatable, no problem, judge as it is, Number 2, if it is not debatable, it is the fault of opposition not to challenge the motion. The definitions. The definitions, no, yeah, not the motion, the definition. It should be challenge the definition. Sorry, mistyping. The example of questions during judge accreditations and it answers, actually it answers. This is my picture block the how to say the typing, the readers, yeah, the letters, so you can't read all. The example of questions during judge accreditations and it answers should be it answers will be discussed, or this one it answers will be discussed in the second part of this video. So guys, you need to check them out. I'll put in the second video because this video is too long to explain. And lastly, if this information provided is useful for you, please kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'll be more than happy to see you in my next video. If you have questions, just put it down or write down to the comment down below. Okay guys, that's all from me and see you later in my next video. Bye bye.